Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. Today we're gonna look at something extra special, and it's gonna be Ado live performance of the show. I know you've been waiting for this performance for quite some time, so I'm super happy that when I finally got to sit down and record that, there is an actual live footage of the same performance. So we've got Ado live show performance, and I'm so excited because so far every single live performance that I've listened to from Ado was really incredible, and it's just so much fun to listen to her perform live. Also, let me remind you very quickly about my Patreon. That's the first thing. If you do want to support the channel and you're searching for more reactions and analysis to also J-pop and other Japanese singers, then definitely check out my Patreon. It's going to be linked down in my description, along with my singing lessons. So if you do want to embark on your own singing journey, and I have to say, I became almost like a mother of VTubers because I've got so many incredible students that are actually VTubers, and a lot of them are inspired by Ado. So if you do want to start with your own channel, you are VTubing, or you just want to start to sing, then definitely check my singing lessons as well. And now, without any further ado, let's get to the video. Okay.
新曲です。聴いてください。Show!
Let me just very quickly say before we start that Ado said that a lot of you guys said in the comments that Ado cringed so hard about her live performances and just her being on stage. There's a certain like kind of performance dysmorphia where most people who perform see themselves as cringy, and I never see this because her live performances are incredible. She's really like commanding the stage. She has insane energy oozing out of her, and I hope that she knows it. I hope she was just kidding, because she's everything but cringy. She's really incredible on that stage. For the fact that she's basically working with her shadow, and with her shadow only, she cannot use her facial expressions or anything else, just really like her shadow and her movement and kind of the symbolism of her movement and the energy that she has to, there has to be so much more energy that she has to put out for it to resonate with people. So she's truly incredible. Somebody please let her know massively that her live performances are incredible and far from cringy.
Okay! たちまち特誕生 Listen!
I love that. It's very heavy fry. Very heavy and more wet, moist fry. You can hear it's almost going into the growl, but she uses this massively. So if she would even apply it on like the introduction speech into the song, nothing unexpected from Ado. I really love that little yodel that she did right after that, because the clarity of that is such a huge contrast to that really textured beginning. And a little hiccup. So this song is very heavily leaning into conversational style, but into a very extreme one. So when we say that singers actually apply conversational style, it is nothing in comparison to what Ado does. She does use a lot of things that she would apply in her speech as well, but in a very extreme. So she's more voice acting than just applying the typical speech properties into her singing. So you've got tons and tons of pitch variation. You've got texture on her voice. You've got everything, but the voice acting is brilliant because she can really extend the emotion that she's trying to give you through her voice so clearly. It's never an exchangeable emotion that you would have trouble to recognize. She can be mocking, she can make fun out of you, she can be loving, she can be heartbroken, but it's always a very clear emotion that is translated to you. I think the most of why she got so brilliant at that is that she utilizes only her voice to give you everything. Everything. You don't see her. You don't see her face. She's only communicating with you through her voice. And contextually, she's one of the most brilliant people that I've heard to work with their voice and emotion to this incredible level. Okay. I will replay this. I don't want to stop too much. I'm just an enormous, huge fan of Ado, so I'm rebelling. Let's go again.
Okay! たちまち特誕生 Listen, listen! Okay!
So like a...
Figure it out. Yeah, showtime! てっぺんのなりほら置いて Yo, concrete ほら hell yeah だんだんノリノリで超簡単 Blah, 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 hell Am I right? Die! And nobody stop I said no kill and go.
Okay, so she used a lot of that. Of course, one of the most dominant part of that was the yodel there, right? She uses her vocal break very, very well. It's one of her best friends. First is definitely what is very typical for Ado are her vocal flips. So all the hiccups, all the cries. The second one is her work around her vocal break. So she really doesn't shy from all the yodel and just like gliding or just cutting right through the vocal break. Here she was utilizing most the yodel. That was a very, very, very heavy. So you've got a very heavy bass and she was flipping in and out from it, which I really, really love. And the last one is, of course, the typical texture. Oh, brilliant work with air. So a little bit of a texture. And if she wanted to soften it real fast, she just inserted a little bit more air, but more like a breath in and breath out instead of just softening the tone through air. So all those little kind of like breath ins. It's a little bit of elevated larynx. She uses it so much, especially for this kind of transition phase. She does not use a lot of clean tones in the song. I have to be honest. I do know the song. Listen to that song. It's really hard for me not to go and listen to the new release just because I want to make a video about it. I do try my best, but I am weak, especially with Ado. I'm very weak with this. So I do know this song. This is a very textured song. So she's doing the most to keep her voice very stable. And she's trying to stabilize a lot of it, especially for her flips. So she's flipping very often into her belts, like, that's very typical for her. So that kind of like squeaky flip into the belt, but she's also adding a lot of texture. Those flips are actually helping her to stay very stabilized and grounded with her tone. The rolled R. This is a deep fry, so she let her larynx really nicely drop to get those lower tones. They do not sound too breathy or airy, so they're not too low for her register. She's still within her lower range very nicely because you can still hear the color nicely, but she's frying pretty heavily just to give them a little bit more edge. She's using quite a wide tone there. Right here. It was so cool. much more texture than I used there. Mine was just like a little kitten. Her is like a big tiger. So the most challenging part of this is the breath management. It's very fast, super interconnected. There is a lot of yodel and a lot of flips up and down between her two registers, which consume a lot of air. So you need a very good support and a good breath management. She did not have a lot of pauses where she could actually breathe and have a proper kind of restabilization of that. That's why it felt like a chase. It's just like constantly urging her forward. So just keeping the tempo. The tempo of the song is pretty haste. So I don't want to, again, interrupt too much, but that was really brilliant. I'm going to go back in here a little bit so I do not interrupt this kind of like mid-passage because it's really pretty, but very opposite to most other singers, which would have a heavier and cleaner tone in their lower chest, and then they would have a little bit more probably airy flip up. She was actually opposite. It was like, so kind of going up into that more clean and more provocative upper tone, while really diffusing and calming down the lower register, creating a little bit more warmth in the song, probably just before she slaps us with another part. No escape. You know what's coming. Yeah, here. That was cool also usage of the singer. This is actually not one of her highest belts. I've heard her sing much higher with a lot of confidence, but she put a lot of texture. So if you add a little bit more texture, you have to be careful with the height and intensity of your belt. Some people do not have any issues with that. Of course, she's been singing with that type of texture for a very long time, so I'm gonna go ahead and say that she's pretty comfortable there. But I like that. It had that super strong drive. Now that slide had such a good drive. I love her texture in here. I think this is really challenging for Ado as well, mainly because of the tempo of the song. Like, she's really forced to be extremely agile in this whole song. She's forced to really redistribute her air very wisely, and the amount of pitch fluctuation here as well on top of all that texture. This is quite a challenge from herself to herself, which I really love when artists push themselves further and further. Super happy. It's just constantly you see the person grow, which is amazing. A lot of artists just stagnate. Beautiful. I love the stage too. So much fun. I'm sorry you couldn't see it in entirety. Please do go and watch the original video. I cannot share it with you because I wouldn't be able to deliver the video to you, but it was a cool show. Go and check it out. So this was Ado in the show. I'm so happy that we got to react to her live performance from this, because even though I do love her studio recordings, they are really incredible. I do love live shows, especially when you have such a powerful performer like Ado. Even again, she thinks this cringy. This is incredible. This is a fun show. Beautiful visuals, so much power, so much drive. I absolutely love it. Again, if you haven't watched it yet, go and watch it. It is on her channel, so go and check it out. And yeah, if you did enjoy this video, please don't forget to subscribe right here. Here is the video that YouTube actually recommends for you, and here is rest of my Japanese and other reactions. Please stay safe and healthy. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.